Hi guys, this is a quick video on how to set up the Trauma Center Second Opinion AutoSplitter. So first and foremost, you'll want to download the latest version of the pack, either from the Trauma Center Discord itself in the guides and resources, or from the link in the video description. When you extract that folder, you're going to have something that looks very similar to this, with enjp, 2-align images, and the autosplit.exe file itself. So once you've run AutoSplit, you're going to need to change the file path up here by clicking Browse and then selecting either EN or JP depending on your localization. Next, you're going to need to align the capture region to the game portion within your streaming software. The way to do this is click Select Window, select the piece of software in question, such as OBS, Streamlabs Desktop, whichever you're using. Once you then click on that, you're then going to need to click Select Region. You select the region as closely as possible. It doesn't have to be exact, but the closer you get it, the less tweaking you're going to need to do. Now you can see in the capture region, it is pretty close, but not exact. You're then going to need to adjust the X, Y, width, and height values to get this as close as possible to what it should be. So you can see here the top line needs to match, and I'm going to reduce the height to match the bottom as well, and then I'll do the same on the width. Now I have already got this configured, so I'm just going to load this up now. And you can see here, this matches perfectly on all sides without any kind of bleeding. Next, you're going to need to update the timer global hotkeys as to whatever these are set to. If you're running AutoSplit 1.5.2, unfortunately there is a bug that if you have your split keys set to anything on the numpad, you're going to need to disable the numlock key and then rebind these to the same keys or whatever you like. Just keep in mind that you'll need to have these match exactly within whichever piece of software you're using, for example, LiveSplit and AutoSplit. You may also want a key to toggle the global hotkeys, as this is what's needed to get AutoSplit to work. So AutoSplitter will only work with the global hotkeys running. Finally, the area that we'll need to ensure that this is going to work correctly is the comparison method. This should be set to L2 norm. I'd also recommend leaving these two values of live similarity and high similarity ticked. That way, if you have any problems, you can check these values and see what the problem is. Finally, the similarity threshold, I would recommend setting this to, at the moment, 0.89 is what the value that works for me. You may find you can set this higher, but this should be a nice ballpark figure that you can aim for in case you're having some problems. The pause delay should always be 9.5. To show you as to what this will look like and how you can test this yourself is if you turn off your global hotkeys and you click Start AutoSplitter, then you can see here the first image will load, and as I'm running the Japanese localization, the first one that shows up is the prologue. And if I have a VOD here, and if I quickly skip through to where the prologue is, you can see the first thing it does is when it matches, it says none paused with a delay running down from 9.5 seconds. This is entirely intentional, and it means that the AutoSplitter has correctly identified the image, it has met the similarity threshold, and then moved on to the next image. The next image is 1.1, so if I skip through to the end of this operation, you'll see it's going to do the exact same thing and move on to the next image with a delay once it matches that image. And this is entirely on how AutoSplitter works. You can see it does the exact same thing here, and it then moves on to look for the next image with a delay so that you can get into the next episode. When you go to do a run, you'll need to ensure that your global hotkeys are turned on. You'll then want to just split as you normally would at the start of the game, and I'll just quickly show you sort of how that looks here. So you can see here on this VOD, when I get to this point where I start the run, I'll simply split as I normally would. AutoSplitter will then launch. It's then going to start looking for this first image, and you can see the timer is running. If you ever need to undo, you can use the undo split or your undo bind. This will move the image back one and also undo your split in LiveSplit. And if you hit reset, you'll see the AutoSplitter no longer is trying to compare, and your timer will stop as well. Now, if you're running into problems with the similarity not working correctly for whatever reason, or for example, it just doesn't seem to be matching up correctly, The most likely that it is that the highest similarity is below the similarity threshold. Now this can be a cause of two things. One is just that your picture is a little bit noisy and it's not exactly 100% perfect. That can happen and that's entirely normal, and all you'll need to do is lower this similarity threshold down probably a couple decimal points to be just below your similarity, your highest similarity that it's matching when it gets to these points. This should be no lower than 0.8 or 0.85 approximately, as otherwise you may run into it splitting at the incorrect time. If, however, you're noticing that the highest similarity is never even getting that high, this is because your capture region isn't matching the image very closely at all. And this is most likely down to these X, Y, width, and height values that just need tweaking. Be that the capture window is slightly too large, or it's cutting off part of the game and it cannot match to the image correctly. If you have any problems, just drop them to me in the Trauma Center Discord and @tag me. I will take a look when I can. And any kind of major updates as well will be through the Trauma Center Discord for any changes there. So that's probably the best place to ensure that you've got the correct information. Good luck, have fun, and have fun using the AutoSplitter.